Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mr. On.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. On.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, I guess it's the afternoon in the East Coast. Good afternoon, early afternoon, everybody in the East Coast.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
I feel great. I feel jacked. I feel good.
We should all get the virus then.
Get it over with. No, not a smart idea. All right. Well, super excited to have all of you guys on. It's so awesome. We could always start the morning, or at least this week, with Mr. Danny Bay. Good morning from Vegas. Yes, West Coast. Good morning. 8 a.m. here in the West Coast. I think Hawaiians, you guys are amazing. Waking up at 5 a.m. to be on this call. Unbelievable. You guys are champions. Obviously, Mr. Nieves at the gym. The man. All right, guys, we're going to get the call started in about a minute. Want to welcome everybody dialing in right now. I know it's early afternoon in the East Coast, 11 a.m. Glad to have all of you guys on. Someone put Korea is on, sir. Okay, midnight in Korea. Good evening to people dialing in from Korea. Welcome to the call. And here, obviously, in the West Coast, it's 8 a.m., just fresh, starting the morning. And if you got on from Hawaii, congratulations. It's definitely super early in Hawaii, 5 a.m. We're going to get the call started as soon as Mr. Danny Bay's on. But I think so far what Mr. Danny Bay's been going over in Good Morning America has been unbelievable. I know yesterday was one of the best calls, having, daily goals and having some great production to run for each day. I think it helped all of us know how to break things down. So I'm excited to see what he's going to share with us today. As we have, obviously today is Thursday, which means tomorrow is the last day of Good Morning America for the week. Okay, I actually do see him on, so there he is. All right, guys. Well, while Mr. Danny begins set up again, I just want to remind everybody we have one more day left of Good Morning America. Let's get the most out of it. Have something to take notes with, and get ready to apply the information, because everything we do that Mr. Danny Bay teaches us is simply just gold. And he's focused. He's excited to help us in U.S. take it to the next level. And I know we got some people from all over on this call. So I just want to thank you for all that you do for all of us, Mr. Danny Bay. I'm going to go ahead and pass on the call to you now. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Hey, I apologize. A couple minutes behind here. I actually, it's for some reason I have a hard time catching Wi-Fi in my office, which is not good. So I was trying to connect here, but I had to walk over there and get connected and move over here. And for some reason, it works after that. So good morning. How you feeling, Mr. On? You look better and better. So great. Well, hey, great to see everybody. I gotta say, so great seeing so many of you every morning. Hey, what's up, Mr. Steve Guan, my man right there. I gotta tell you, Mr. Steve Guan and Jenny, they were getting, they got married in Thailand. And I tell you, myself, Mr. Michael On, Mark Isaac, Steve Hyun, Ryan Dufour, we all got to go out there together, and we had a tremendous time in Thailand together. And it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, and it seems like it was just yesterday, but now he's got this model boy. His son's actually like modeling, like big time. But model boy running around, but can't wait to travel with everybody. And, you know, the funniest thing we did, it was so hot. And we all were like groomsmen, so we were all wearing stuff with the vest, and we were like really hot. It was an outdoor wedding. And we were so hot that we walked over to 7-Eleven, and everybody's sitting in front of one refrigerator, and we opened the door and we stayed there for a little while to cool off. You guys ever done that? You never done that? Okay, well, if you've never done that, then try it sometime. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. For time's sake, I'll just get started here. Good morning, Mr. Thomas Berry. Good morning. Wow, Tyler Peng, I love your virtual background. Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, well, good morning. Good morning. Mr. DMB is at it. You know, I mean, he's got muscles popping out of his shoulder. So good morning. Hey, just wanted to talk about you know, these two things. One of them is an update. One of them is a training topic, and we'll open up for some questions since we only have one more day for Good Morning GPS. Wanted to make sure that we spend a lot of time today doing Q&A. But, you know, I do want to give you guys some good update. Yesterday, last night, you know, our time, Vegas time, like 1 a.m. to like 3 a.m. Spent a couple of hours, spent, you know, going over with our back office development team. And we went through literally every single page, every single line, every single box in the areas that we wanted to improve in our back office, my office, for the GPS Life, you know, influencer page. So, you know, with the speed that we had to, you know, work on to open up Korea and open up America, open up Japan, and to tell you, you know, the functionality of what you could see and what you could do with our back office, you know, wasn't 100% exactly what we wanted, but it was just kind of needed and required for us to get it at the most basic way of setting things up to the, you know, shortest amount of time. So there was a launch version, but, you know, we're going to be spending next few weeks here doing everything we can to really turn our back office into a reporting system that every single one of you will be very proud of, but also have very easy access to everything you want. So, you know, to the summary page, I'm sure some of you already saw the change. You know, if you log in, if you log on, the very first thing that you see, instead of saying business status, it's a business summary. And it has better wordings replaced last night of basically, you know, instead of saying carrying over power leg earnings, it just, you know, really the right terminology is unused. So it's usable, you know, unused power leg BV. And, you know, some other things, you will see that some of the wordings got simplified and got changed last night. So if you logged in this morning, you probably saw the new updates this morning. So, you know, so just wanted to let you know that our plan is to, within the next few weeks, with the first page, you will be able to know exactly how much volume you haven't used. I know yesterday on the call, some of you asked, one of you asked, and I appreciate that. And we were able to add those things onto, you know, our back office development, you know, schedule. So I think it's very good that we're communicating. Always feel free to communicate what you would like to see, what you would like to have changed, what you would like to have updated. And we're always going to be working with you to make sure that you have the best tools out there in the marketplace for you to be able to build your business. So, so we literally went through dozens of items. My goal is to have it with their next couple weeks or a few weeks. You could literally log in, see all the volume you have that you haven't used yet, all the volume you have going on week to date. Week meaning that Tuesday, Monday night, midnight, Tuesday morning is when the new week begins. This week's current volume that you could use for your group influencer marketing commission calculation, but also month to date influencer volume, because that counts towards your promotion. So we want you to be able to see that very easily. We want to show you where you are, what level you are now, what level you're going to be next, and how much volume you need. So we're going to be working on that. As far as looking at your downline organization, we want to be able to provide where you could literally see it in one page. If I was looking at Steve's page, Steve, in the tree, I could easily see what position he is, if he's an active influencer, if he's got VRV subscription already on, and how much volume he has on the left and right. So I know how much he's going to be working on earning, as well as I know how much more he has to do for him to get promoted to the next level. So, a lot of these things, we're going to be working on. So, there's, you could access the majority of the information right now, but it just takes a few different steps, for you to do it. We're going to simplify it. We're going to make it easy. So we're very excited about that. I want to talk to you a little bit about a little more update on what we talked about beginning of the week. I talked about 2020 marketing is bombarding, and 2020 marketing is exposure and exposure and exposure. And, instead of just talking about it, I thought, hey, why don't I lead by example and build my personal page and build my personal channel and kind of share how I would like to see many of the influencers create their brand, create their presence, and create their influencer effectiveness and influencer marketing on social media. So, I'm planning to, starting next week, I'm planning to, as some of you probably saw, my official Danny Bay Facebook page, I haven't posted anything for 4 years, but I just started doing some stuff a couple of days ago. I do have a YouTube page, I had for years, and I haven't done anything with it for years. I'm going to be starting a new YouTube page in the next couple of weeks. And I'm just going to start, sharing, just giving you guys ideas. I'm mainly doing it to give you guys ideas, to lead by example, and share just ideas and strategies that, many of you could just simply just follow. And a lot of it is going to be, some contents are going to be targeted to our GPS audience. Some targets going to be, some contents are going to be targeted to VR interested audience that are non-GPS influencers out there. But also, some, contents are going to be targeted to people that are, that maybe have interest in entrepreneurship or success or business or sales or leadership. But not necessarily GPS influencer target. Does that make sense? So just having different target markets and having content that you strategize and you create and promote and create exposures is really the way to have an effective marketing in 2020. So some of you guys are way better than me at doing that, but I'm going to just start with you to just show you, how fast you could grow it, how fast you could create your presence on social media, and really start doing effective online influencer marketing to bring people interest. Really create interest in the marketplace where they want to find out what you do. They want to find out what you know. They want to find out what you're doing. They want to find out, what your interests are and what you're promoting. And so we're going to be doing a lot of that, so look for new Facebook activities, as well as mainly my main focus is going to be on YouTube. So the brand new YouTube page that I'm going to create in the next couple of weeks, it should be able to give you a lot of ideas. And I'm going to be a lot more active on Instagram and Facebook as well. So I just threw that out there, so you guys, look out for it and get really, start thinking about your content creating as well. Okay. So the training topic that I want to talk to you guys a little bit about is, I spent a couple hours yesterday with our top influencer in Korea, our influencer 75K, Mr. Wu. Some of you have seen his material, some of you haven't. Majority of his trainings are in Korean, unfortunately, so maybe of you haven't seen yet, but I can't wait for things to open up. We're hoping that, when we have a big event, maybe early next year, whenever we can, I want to, bring Mr. Wu to the States and do a lot of workshop and a lot of trainings with them, and with a professional trainer, translator, for you guys to pick his brain and do a lot of Q&A session. And we have so many great leaders from all three countries that, I really look forward to, share the experiences and knowledge and strategies from all markets, so everybody could benefit from, learning from one another. So, but we spent a couple of hours yesterday, and it got really exciting. It got really exciting because just during the couple-hour conversation, strategy session, it was so amazing because we literally talked about our game plan, our daily, weekly game plan, and of the results that we wanted to create. We literally talked about it, in details for the month of July, what we want to do today, what we want to do this week, what we want to do this month, which kind of goes back to what we talked about yesterday. But we also talked about what our plans are in very details for August and September and October and November and December. And it got literally to a point we start talking about the strategies of how we would do this to grow this for 2021. And it got to, and even we ended it at an even very long-term game plan. And he's a car fanatic. He's a car fanatic, and we're talking about that. He wants a Pagani, later, and we even talked about, how much revenue and how much, how many leaders we're going to develop, how many customers we're going to get, and when he's going to be getting that, Pagani. And as we spend the strategy session, but it really, it made the whole thing so clear of what we needed to do yesterday, what we needed to do this week, and what we needed to do tomorrow, and all the game planning. And as we were doing it, I thought to myself, I know we talked about it yesterday, and I talked to Mr. Michael on yesterday, and I heard that many of you already talked to him yesterday about setting up your daily plans and your weekly plans, which I'm really excited to hear. I want to really encourage every single one of you to really develop habit and do this every day. And yesterday, here's what's crazy. Yesterday, our sales goals that myself and Mr. Wu created yesterday. Now, some people, yesterday, sales goals that we set yesterday, we were off by 2. Can you believe it? The sales transaction numbers, we weren't really off because we did a range, but, I'm saying to the highest number range, we were off by 2. And I thought to myself, what if we could just get every influencer in our team, every influencer that's working with us. Now, some people say, man, you're so good at guessing. No, you're not guessing, we're creating. There's huge difference. It's, if I say we're gonna have 300 people at an event, if I say we're gonna have 250 orders, if I said that we're gonna do $120,000 in volume today, or whatever it may be, we're not guessing, we're not picking, no, we are creating. You guys see the difference? And the reason a lot of people think that, hey, somebody's so good at picking the right numbers or guessing the right numbers is because they're not creators yet. But if you understand how to create, if you understand that every result, you could truly be in control of the results that you create daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, for your business. And once you understand that, and it's gonna take time, as I mentioned yesterday, it's gonna take time, but it starts with the plan. You know, so today, I wanna encourage you to really go out there. It is like reverse engineering. You're right. You know, and I used to train on this over a decade ago. We haven't been talking much about it, but we used to talk about, man, our business there's no hope and luck involved. It's science. It's a science formula of you do this, you get this. You do this, you get this. If you don't do this, you don't get this. If this is how much you do, then this is how much you get. You know, so to go really more deeper into what we talked about yesterday, because I really want you guys to master this. You gotta know what you got, and you gotta know what you want, and you got to know yourself. What do I mean by that? Okay, if you're in a traditional business, you check your inventory. You go, okay, who do I have? If you're in a traditional business, you check your resources. Okay, how many people do I have in my staff? How many locations do I have? How much money do I have? Same thing in network marketing. Same thing in GPS influencer marketing. You gotta look at your resources. Do I have 2 people in my team? Do I have 20 people in my team? Do I have 2,000 people in my team? How many people in my team are active influencers? How many of my people have a volume, have not have volume? You know, how many people on my team have already completed step 1, where they recruited, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, or how many people have at least got promoted to Influencer 100, where they have 1 on the left, 1 on the right, you know, so kind of taking a look at a lot of these things. Look at your resources and look at what you got, look at your inventory. And from there, you got to know you, meaning that you got to know your numbers. You got to know, okay, what's my success ratio in inviting? How many of you guys know? If I asked you right now that, hey, what is your success ratio in inviting? Would you have a direct answer on it? He said, if I invite 10 people to Zoom presentation, how many people actually connect? You know, that's something that you want to know, right? Maybe it's 50%, maybe it's 70%, maybe it's 100%, maybe it's 30%, maybe it's 10%. And I could tell you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 10% or 70%. What matters is you know it. What matters is you know it. One of the Jim Rohn's teaching, which I absolutely love, one of the basic teachings that he shared is you got to know your numbers. And why? Because once you know the numbers, you can make up in numbers what you lack in skills. He talks about a story of, hey, you know what? If I could get 1 out of 10, but if you're professional, you could get 9 out of 10. If I go in a competition with you, I will beat you. He said the reason, I mean, how would 1 out of 10 person beat 9 out of 10 person? Because while you talk to 10 and get 9, I'm going to talk to 100 and get 10. But that's only possible to do if you know your numbers. Would you guys agree with that? You know, so it's so important for you to know you. It's so important for you to know your team. You know, you got to know what you got, but you got to know, the numbers of your resources. Does that make sense? You know, so, and from there, Mr. Jim Rohn calls it the miracle working process. You know, if I could get down right now and only do maybe 40 push-ups, doesn't mean that Danny Bay, July 2nd of 2020, could maybe only do 40 push-ups. And Mr. David Nieves is laughing. He's like, dude, what human being could only do 40 push-ups? Because I could do 40 push-ups with 1 finger. That's what he's thinking. But, you know, I'm just using that as an example, sir. But, you know, if 2020, July 2nd, if I could only do 20 or 40 push-ups, does that mean that Danny Bay could only do 40 push-ups? Answer is no. He said, if you do what you can, if you do the best you can, if you just rest very little. He said, if you rest very little, he said, if I did 40 push-ups right now, if I take 30-minute break, if I take 5-minute break, truth of the matter is I could do a few more push-ups again. I could do it again. And maybe if I take a couple-hour break, I could do 40 again. But what he was talking about is if you do what you can, if you do the best you can, if you rest very little, but if you do it again, then you could do more. You could do more. But he said miracle working process. Miracles start to happen. He said, you've done 40. But next time 3 days of repeating 40, guess what could happen? You may be able to push to 45 or 50 push-ups. How can a person that 3 days ago could only do 40 push-ups now all of a sudden do 50 push-ups? He said, it's a miracle. That's how he would talk. He said, it's a miracle. That's how Mr. Jim Rohn used to talk. But you know, he said it's a miracle. How is that possible? Well, how is that possible? Is that it's possible because there is a formula for a miracle working process. Do what you can and do the best you can and rest very little. And if you do 50 today, and if you do 50 tomorrow, if you do 50 the next day, and there's a possibility that the following day that you may be able to do 60. And a person that was only able to do 40 today, 30 days from now, may be able to do 100 push-ups. You know, and a person that can maybe only push 50 pounds or 80 pounds in weight, if you could keep it up, if you do the best you can, do what you can, do the best you can, and rest very little, and do it again, that person may be able to lift 100 pounds, 150 pounds, 200 pounds, 250 pounds, 300 pounds, some monsters, right? You know, so, but how do you get there? You don't go from 0 to 300. You don't go from 10% to 90% overnight, but you don't have to go overnight. Because if you could start the miracle working process, who could grow? Who could grow? Mr. Jim Rohn would say, anybody. Anybody could grow. Here's the key. Every single person on this Zoom call right now, every person in GPS are capable of growing. Every person that's on this call right now are capable of getting thousands, if not tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands, if not millions of customers in your GPS business. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have already gotten either a customer or influencer in your team already? How many of you got at least one? How many of you got already one? Okay, I'm looking like everybody. Yeah, I mean, you know, Roy Bailey took a little while to raise his hand, but even he raised his hand. I'm just playing. Good seeing you, Roy. I don't know. Hey, message me later. I don't know what happened to. I want to know what happened to you, man. But you know, it's like everybody has. Okay, so if you got one. Here's a question. Could you get one more? If Mr. Jim Rohn was still alive and if he was here with us this morning, to that question, here's what he would say. Of course. He say, of course. Now, if you already got one, the truth of the matter is you could get one more. And if you got one more, the question is, could you get one more? Answers, of course. And if you got one more, could you get one more? Answers, of course. And if you could keep that up, could you get two next time? Answers, of course. If you could get two, if you repeat it, if you do what you can, if you do the best you can, if you rest very little, you could do two, and you could do three. You could do 4, you could do 5, you could do 10. And let me ask you a question. How many of you would love to have thousands of people join your team every single month? How many of you would like to have that happen, right? I could tell you, I mean, Mr. Wu, you know, a lot of times, a lot of us, our numbers are open book. My mentor, Mr. Jerry, used to call it, man, you know, when it comes down to numbers, when it comes down to the top level of leadership, you know, we got nothing to hide, you know, we share our numbers. And I'll just tell you how many recruits that Mr. Wu did last month. So he did 2004 influencers joined his team last month. That's exciting, right? Month 5. This is not just a pre-launch, and this is not just a launch. A month before, in May, he had 1,726 influencers join his team. So in his recruiting, he's gone up over 10 or 15%. But what's also exciting on top of that is that his revenue has grown. We did the final numbers for the month close. His revenue has grown 64% in the month of June than month of May. Why? Because we're getting, now, yes, you got 10, 15% more recruit, sign up to build its distribution channel, to build his influencer marketing team, which is exciting. But how can 10, 15% new increase in recruiting, but revenue is 64% in revenue increase. Better culture is being implemented of what? Customer acquisition. More influencers are getting more customers. How is that happening? Because now we're new to VR. I know we're new to VR. We just started month 2. We just started month 2, right? So this is just the beginning, month 2. And I know a lot of us are new. A lot of us are very new. Some of us didn't even know what VR was until 2 months ago. Some of you never even got to experience our first VR experience until a couple of days ago or a few days ago, right? So because of it, you know, it's every day repetition for 3 months. Now it's month 4 and 5 in Korea that, you know, people are demonstrating better. People are exposing better. They're doing mass marketing of having, you know, bombarding the marketplace, bombarding their network, and their confidence is going up. But, you know, confidence, maybe your team confidence isn't there today, but I'm telling you, if you push it every day, if you do it every day, if you talk about it every day, if you promote it every day, if you expose it every day, the person that will be against VR technology, if you expose the right content every day for 90 days, that person will be your biggest fan of VR. You know that? Person that says, I will never pay to learn anything on e-learning. If you expose the right content, if you expose the right approach every day for the next 90 days, it will be impossible for that person to say, you know what, I don't see any value in that. People see value in what you promote. People see value in what you talk about every day. And you as an entrepreneur, you as a leader, and you as a sales expert, you as an influencer marketing influencer, I'm telling you, that's why you gotta be strategic of what you talk about and promote every day. It will be silly for me to go on a diet for 3 days and say, hey, you know what, I haven't lost 20 pounds. This doesn't work for me. It will be silly for me to go out there and do push-ups for 3 days and say, you know what, it's not for me. It's not doing anything good for me. So I give up. It will be silly for someone to promote VR or e-learning, VR Loop, GPS opportunity, VR Loop subscription, or VR device of Pico. It will be silly for somebody to do it for 3 days or 1 time or 10 days or 1 month and determine if it's gonna work for them or not. The truth of the matter is every single person is capable. Every single person could get one. And because I know every single person could get one, I know that every single person could get 2. And because I know that everybody could get 2, I know every single person could get 5 and 10 and 100 and 1,000 and 10,000 and 1,000,000. Why? As long, and how? As long as they do what they can, do the best they can, and rest very little and do it again. And repetition and consistency of doing what you got to do, I'm telling you, you could change the world. You could change the results. You could create your results. How many of you would love to have 2,004 people join your team this month or next month, or maybe your month 5? Maybe in the month of June, maybe you had, with the pre-launch and launch, maybe you had 10 people join your team. Maybe you had 1 person join your team. Maybe you had 100 people join your team. Maybe you had 1,000 people join your team. Doesn't matter. What matters is what are you gonna do today, this week, and this month, and I don't care how small it starts. You could go from 1. Everything big started as a small thing. And you could go from 1, and I'm telling you, you could go to 100,000, you could go to 1,000,000. You know, 20 years ago, I was just a student. I was working at Starbucks. My dad and my mom and dad, when I got back to the United States last week, Thursday or Friday, they brought over my old New York hotel name tag, which was the name tag I had to wear because the Starbucks I worked at was part of New York hotel. So they brought my Starbucks name tag and give it to my kids. I was reminded that that's who I was. That's who I was. Yes, 20 years later, billion plus in revenue. Yes, 20 years later, millions of customers we acquired in multiple countries. Yes, 20 years later, spoken in front of over 500,000 people in 16 countries. But let me tell you something. That was me, $8.50 an hour at Starbucks, wearing a gold New York name tag. Going to work at 4 a.m. to 12 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday, working. Why? You know, but that was me. Someone that got excited if they were giving away free pastries because they had left over. I mean, I'm someone that used to get so excited if I could take $7 tip. home because, man, you know, at Starbucks tip, they have to share, you know, and they got 4 of us, man, you got $30. I mean, you split up, you're taking $7 or $7 and, you know, 50 cents or whatever. But we were so excited to take that $7, $10 tip home for the day. But that was me. And you know what else about me that you should know? When I first got started in the industry, my first day, I recruited my first friend, Charlene. She was one of my best friend's girlfriend, and she signed up. The day I told her about it, next day she canceled. Because her mom told her she couldn't do it. I mean, we were so young that, man, you know, and plus she used her mom's credit card. So, you know, she didn't have much choice in, you know, doing keeping and not keeping it. That was her mom's choice. But Charlene quit. She signed up. She quit next day. But can I tell you something? I let it get to me emotionally. I let it get to me in my head. I went to every meeting. I got on every call. I did everything I was supposed to do, but I couldn't recruit my next person for 9.5 months. And because of it, I got my first paycheck in my first network marketing experience 10 months after I joined the company for $58. That's me. A person that had first person join and quit in 24 hours. Took 10 months to get my 9.5 months to get my second person. That was me. But that person turned into, you could drop me off in any city, any country at any time. Give me 30 days and I have over 100 people getting together at any day. And I've done that in dozens of cities. How do you go from this person that couldn't get one person for 9.5 months to you could drop me off in any city, any state, any country at any time in 30 days and have 100 people showing up to a meeting? It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter what language I have to speak. How do you go from here to here? To me, I would say that's a miracle. But beautiful thing is, even though that's a miracle, beautiful thing is, Mr. Jim Rohn right here, you see that autograph version, boom, booyah. Mr. Jim Rohn taught it very clearly, miracle working process. Do what you can, do the best you can, and rest very little and do it again. And every person are capable of growing and go from 1 to 10, 10 to 100. And I'm telling you, every single one of you can too. If Mr. Mike Lon could do it, you could do it. If Mr. Mark Isaac could do it, you could do it. If Mr. David Nieves could do it, you could do it. If Mr. Wu could do it, you could do it. We have a 29-year-old, 29 Korean age, so she's 28 actually, a 28-year-old influencer 10K. You know, she got promoted, no experience in sales, no experience. Only job she's ever had after graduating college is as an assistant in an office. Never done sales, never done direct sales, never done influencer marketing, never done anything, but building a tremendous team. I believe so far her group have generated close to 800,000 or 900,000 BV so far in her business. Tremendous, you know, and she's working on balancing a little more because one of her team is a little bigger, which is good, you know, which is good in GPS plan. Now, if some of you are looking at your tree, go, man, I got more volume in my one side than the other side. And some people look at that as a negative. I said, how is that negative? Would you rather have 0 on both sides? I mean, if you got 10,000 BV or 10,000 IV or 100,000 or 5,000 or whatever the number is, I mean, isn't that good? You got to build 2 teams. If one already has volume, isn't that good? That means you're already halfway there. I had a person like, they were discouraged and they're like, oh man, I only have one, I only have one team, one leg that's got volume. I said, isn't that exciting? More than half of your work is done. And if you don't have any, you can get started now, but I'm telling you, build one and build one more. That's it. That's it. In GPS, forever. You really only need to build 2 powerful teams. Yeah, you may put a few people in both teams to make sure that they stay powerful and they get even more powerful, right? But you only need to build 2 teams. Guess who could, here's a question before we go into Q&A session. Before you ask me a question, here's one of my last questions to you. Guess who could build 2 teams? Guess who could build powerful 2 teams in GPS opportunity? Guess who could do it? Since you're not answering, I'll answer for you, Mr. Jim Rosenstein. Anybody. Anybody. Anybody includes you. Anybody includes you. Every single one of you are capable of doing it. It starts with today. It starts with today's Zoom presentation call. Who are you going to invite? Know your numbers. It doesn't matter if the number is 10%. It doesn't matter if you invite 10 people in your one-person show. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the number is. I want you to know your numbers today. If you had 10 people on Zoom call, if let's just say that your success ratio is 50%. You invite 10, 5 people actually got on, the other 5 flipped. Okay. Next number you got to know is, okay, if 5 showed up, how many of them, got started in the business as an influencer? So what's your closing success ratio? If 5 people see it, did 1 join, or did 2 join, did 3 join, did 4 join, did all 5 join? You got to know your numbers. You got to know your numbers in your invitation success numbers. You got to know your numbers in from the moment they saw the presentation, what percentage of them actually became an influencer. After that, what percentage of them are, did they just sign up as a $99 influencer, or did they get started and they got started with the full package where they have a full VR headset and the content, so they have a full proper start, what percentage? I could tell you right now that the best teams that are producing and creating the most amount of results are people that have literally over 90%. 90%, some groups are like 100%. 90% plus are people that are getting started with all 3 to make sure they're getting started properly. Can I tell you guys something with my 20-year experience of building a distribution channel of hundreds of thousands of people, getting millions of customers? I could tell you, when somebody's making a decision, there is not much difference in $99 decision or $600, $700 decision. If you're gonna do it, but let me say it the opposite way first. If you're not gonna do it, if you're not interested, if you don't see the vision, $99 is too much. If you don't see the vision, $19 is too much. But if you see the vision, and as long as you're communicating it properly, it's your posture, it's your confidence, it's your message. And as long as you're approaching it from the full package, I'm telling you, that somebody that would do 99 wouldn't say no to 700, and getting the product and the service themselves so they could actually experience and they could actually go out and demonstrate. It logically makes so much sense, because if you have one, you could probably demonstrate to 100 people in the next 90 days or next 6 months of time, and they'll probably get them 20, 30, 40, 50 customers by them purchasing one, right? They could all get 20, 30, 40, 50 customers, by them letting people experience, because anytime you have somebody experience it, they say, wow, they want one. So I'm telling you, the approach, it's very important how you're doing it. But if you're scared to do it, if you're hesitant to do it, if you're shy about doing it, then you determine if they're gonna go full or if they're only gonna go 99. So I wanna make sure that you understand the percentage. What's important is the percentage. Why? Because once you know your number, we could improve it. We could apply the miracle working process and grow it to where it needs to be. So if you got 50% showing up or 10% showing up, doesn't matter. If you got 50% to join or 10% to join, doesn't matter. But know your numbers today. Do enough activities today to know your numbers today. If somebody says, oh, I invited 1 and 1 came and 1 signed up, so for me, it's 100% everywhere. No, law of average, Mr. Jim Rohn would say, law of average does not start with 1. I mean, in my opinion, you need at least 10. You need to invite at least 10. You need to at least show 10. You need to at least sign up 10 for you to actually figure out your numbers. Does that make sense to you? So do enough activities today. If I were you, I'll do enough activities of at least inviting 10 people to take a look at the presentation and start there and track it. So invite percentage success ratio, sign up success ratio, how they're getting started, what they're getting started with is a percentage of success ratio. Next, how many people are enrolling into the second exposure, which is the Saturday system training? How many of those people that were exposed, either joined or not joined, that you communicate to, especially the ones that joined, what percentage of them are going to your Saturday system training with you on Zoom? You communicate right before the meeting. You communicate right after the meeting. You text or chat a couple times during the meeting. You know, that's how I would do it. If I brought Mr. Frederick to a meeting and if we were physically sitting next to each other and if it was his first training, man, he may get a bruise after the meeting, because during the meeting, anytime I hear something that I want him to make sure that he got, I want to make sure that he got, you know, I've been nudging him. I'm like, you heard that? You heard that? Oh my God. Like, you know, I'm going to do that. But somebody said, well, we don't have physical meetings. How would you do that? You call it a text. So if we're on Zoom together, and I know that I invited Mr. Frederick to the call, and Mr. Thomas Berry says something that was so powerful. I'll text him, oh my God, you heard that? Oh, powerful. You keep the engagement. Does that make sense? You know, why? What do new people know? What do new people know? Nothing. What good habits do new people have? None. You know, what are the chances of a new person having the right game plan, right discipline, right habits, right thinking, right mindset, right emotional roller coaster control, and right activities in their mind for them to succeed in GPS opportunity when they're brand new and it's their first Saturday training? None. The possibility of having all that figured out by themselves is zero. Would you guys agree with that? So how do I make sure, if I'm the sponsor, if I'm the leader, if I'm the mentor, if I'm the coach, if I'm the leader of my team, to make sure that my influencers win with me? Because to me, that's the most important thing in building a team. They gotta win with me. Every person I personally work with, they gotta win with me. And that's how I want you to be. I want you to bring people into the team, not so you could get paid. I want you to bring them to your team so you can make them win. So you could make sure that they win. So you could make sure that they create results for them to provide better for their family. And I'm telling you, during the training, you gotta engage them. Why? Because they don't know how to pay attention. They don't know how to. They've never been trained on Zoom before. You gotta keep them engaged. As soon as Mr. Mike Lon says something, boom, I'm gonna text him, oh my gosh, you heard that? Ooh, that's so good. Write that down. So if there's a call to action item, Mr. Mark Isaacson thing, I'm going to text Mr. Frederick, go, oh man, let's do that right away. Hey, after this call, dude, you and me, get together and we work on that right away. When we talk about getting promoted and completing step one, boom, hey, let's do that right after this. Man, you already got one, man. We just got to get 3 more. Let's work on how we're going to do that right after this call. Stay in engagement. I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. Don't get on these calls. Own it. You know, this is for you. It's not for everybody. No, it's for you. Own it. Benefit from it. Don't go through a Zoom call. Get from it. Have a plan. Know how many you're going to have on there and work with them throughout the call. Work with them, drive them, and afterwards, get together with them one-on-one, or have if you have 5 or 10 or 20 people on Zoom call, have your own Zoom call right after the call and say, hey guys, you guys heard this? Well, that was powerful. That was powerful. What did you hear? What did you hear? What did you hear? Yeah, that was powerful. Okay, here's the call to action. Our team, right now, after this call, after this training, let's do this. But we're all going to complete our step 1 by Monday. We're all going to complete getting promoted to Influencer 500 this week, or whatever it may be. Do you guys understand? And I'm telling you, that's the conversation. It's not the calls that's going to make you wealthy. It's not the calls that's going to build your business. It's what you do before and after the call that's going to build your business. What you do before will determine how many you have on. You got to know. You got to know what you do before. And during the call, it's not just you sitting there and listen for 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. You got to work. You got to work. While you're on Zoom call, you got to work. Try to use PC or one device for watching, but try to use the other one for, communicate. Boom, communicate. Now, don't do it every minute. I'm not saying be texting the whole training time. It ain't gonna be effective. And once you do that, man, they don't even read your text. When there's the key point, In each topic, I would say at least engage one time. If there's a customer acquisition, at least engage once. In recruiting, engage at least once. In comp plan, engage at least once. When they talk about these levels, if Mr. Mark Isaac was talking about, I'm becoming influencer 10K. Boom, I'm going to be texting whoever I'm working on. And I'm going to go, dude, we got to get promoted to influencer 10K no matter what this year. You and me, we do it together. Boom, sending a text like that during that training is going to get them engaged. What are you doing? Making sure that they have the right direction. Making sure that they're focusing on the right things. Making sure that they develop right habits. Making sure that they're doing the right activities. Call isn't going to do it for you. You need to work the call. You need to work the meetings to do it for you. Does that make sense? But only way you do that is you gotta set goals. You gotta have daily, weekly, monthly, what we talked about yesterday. And after that is what we're talking about today. You gotta know your numbers. I don't care how low it is. You gotta know your numbers. Maybe you invite 10 and you get 0. It doesn't matter if there's 0. Know your numbers. Figure out your numbers and let's work on it. Let's work on it. Let's work on it. If you're not good at inviting, hey, talk to some of the leaders. Talk to me. Reach out to me. Reach out to other leaders and go, hey, I've invited 10 and nobody showed up, man. I must be saying something wrong, man. Hey, here's what I said. Can you tell me what I should take out and what I should add? If you're not having those conversations, you're not maximizing your mentors. If you're not having those conversations, you're not maximizing your leaders. I gotta say, sometimes people they haven't done anything. They haven't done anything. And they ask me, they're like, what should I do? Do something first, bro. Like, I gotta know where you are for me to give you the direction to where you wanna go. It's just like navigation. It's just like GPS. You know? Hey, isn't it amazing? Our company name is GPS. I mean, I see GPS everywhere. And some of the cars, as soon as I get in, navigation can say, you are connected to GPS. You know, like, oh, wow, they're connected to GPS. But you know, it's I love it, man. You know, so but it's like, hey, it's like Frederick calling me and go, hey, how do I get to your place? You know, where do I make a left turn? How do I get there? I'm saying, you know, I mean, for him to figure out a direction, the very first thing he has to do is figure out where you're at. If I ask you, like, where you at? He's like, I don't know. Well, I can't help you. I don't know if you should make a left or right. I can't help you, right? So you got to do something first. Get people to do stuff. Go out there, figure out your numbers. I don't care if it's 10 or 0 or 50 or 7. Know your numbers, we work on it. Maximize your leaders. Maximize communication. Instead of just saying, what do I do? No, do it and say, tell them, hey, I invited 10. 30% came. You think I can increase that to 50? Here's what I'm saying. Let me record it. Next time I invite somebody, let me record it and send it to you. Do you mind giving me a feedback? Do you mind telling me what I should say differently, what I should add? See, that's the type of a relationship you should build with your leaders, but also your people in your team with you. You get better by doing more of it if you're monitoring. Let me make that very clear. Some people don't monitor. Some people don't check their numbers. Some people don't know their numbers. And guess what? Some people, they've been in the industry for 10 years. I ask them, I'm like, man, how you doing? They said, good. Hey, what percentage of the people are coming? They're like, everybody. After an event, I asked them, man, how many sign up? He said, everybody. I'm like, you've been doing this for 10 years. You don't know your numbers, man. And when I check the numbers, of course, it's not everybody. It's impossible to have everybody. But, you know, it's just not having the habit of checking numbers. So without checking numbers, it's impossible to become a professional. Without checking numbers, it's impossible to improve and give you giving your people proper direction for them to grow them, which is ultimately going to grow their business. Would you guys agree with that? Does that make sense for you? So if you could plan it and you know your numbers, you start the miracle working process and you get better, that's how you create results. That's how you design results. That's how you produce the success and the production that you would like to have. So it definitely took longer than I wanted, but you know, I'm having fun. I don't know if you're having fun, but I'm having fun anyway. You know, I'm having fun. All right. So any questions before we wrap up here?
Danny Bay, if you don't mind. Danny Bay.
Go ahead.
As a business owner, which I had many businesses over millions of dollars, when I was training my team, just like you're training us, I was more interested in the training than the question, because when they had question, I basically told them, listen, you are the owner of the store. I want you to go through the process, through the journey, and figure it out. And when you figure it out, you will learn this business much easier than actually asking questions. Because when you're asking questions, you're looking for a shortcut. And when you're looking for a shortcut, you will not be able to empower your team. So I tell my team, don't ask me any question. Go through the journey. Let the journey teach you the result. So I'm not saying it for you guys not to ask questions. That's the way I was training. But I do have one question in regards to other businesses that we
right there. What's the question? Go ahead.
At what time can we start talking to the team that we used to have prior to this business, and see if you can recruit them into our business? Is it like a year?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, it depends. You know, we have a lot of different people from different backgrounds, so you know, we could have a separate conversation. But yeah, it depends on what business they're from, and depends on what they're doing. It's probably a little different for everybody.
Our previous company.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so.
Okay.
It's 1 year.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so I'm just gonna look at the chat a little bit, and all right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Robert's asking, your current business, your traditional business, is elder care facility. How do you think I can incorporate the ZPS business? You know, I don't know that industry. Probably the best way for you to, you know, come up with some ideas and share with leaders and maybe discuss and strategize. You know, because you know, it's not an industry I am familiar with. But I would say, you know, from my personal experience, having elderly individuals experiencing VR, they absolutely love it. I mean, some of you probably saw the article that Carla shared a few weeks back about, you know, so many cancer patients, even in, you know, clinics. I mean, the whole cancer like magazine for that month cover was VR, because a lot of these clinics are setting up VR because it's giving them a lot of positivity, giving them experience, giving them energy, giving them life, and also, you know, some of the trainings and contents that they internally at different centers created to show people the process of the treatment and different things, and they said that was helping tremendous. So, you know, I think one of the magazine literally had VR as a cover story and had it on the cover as well. So, you know, I say go research, you know, and go, you know, your business better than probably anybody. Come up with you come up with ideas. You talk to your people and see how it would benefit everybody. So, all right, here we go. Also, by any chance, are we able to have an easy way inviting people to a personalized version of the site, at least a way where, you know, that's a question. I know, you know, we're working on it. We talked about that yesterday. We talked about that the day before. I know we have different audiences, every day. So I was telling them that it's not a practice that we're doing now. You know, obviously our big thing is going to be EVP commerce. Our EVP commerce, really in development of EVP commerce, as you guys know that we're doing that, you know, by at the end of the year. When EVP commerce happens, is you literally register them as a customer, you know, as a VRLU customer. And when we start commerce, EVP commerce, you know, there are going to be other options. Other than just they could just sign up and become a customer for the EVP commerce portion. And when they do, it's, you know, in the network marketing, so many people are used to having personalized website that you send people to and do all that. No, but it's going to be better than that. EVP commerce, every customer is going to have their own. Every customer is going to have their own account. Every customer has they're already logged into their account. Once they log in, they're logged into their account. And everything they purchase through there gets credited to you. So it's a different approach of influencers, us business people, having our own websites. You know, instead of that, our customers, as we started these influencer EVP experience before purchase commerce, customers are going to have their own logged in account that they're going to be able to purchase everything from, and you're going to get credit for everything. So, so it's just focus on that. Focus on what you have right now. We are looking at different options, but, it's not something that you're going to have, in the next couple of weeks or a few weeks of time. Okay. So we're just, we want to put our resources in developing EVP commerce, and personalized customer account, just like Amazon, right? Amazon, if you're shopping on Amazon, you go to your account, not your distributor, not your influencer's account. So, so that's what we're trying to create, and what we're doing. Okay. Dan is asking if someone signs up for VRLoo platform to become a master trainer or some other expert field, are they paid? If so, how? Yes, they are, but that's something you should talk to VRLoo about, for the person that is working on it. So if people could message on official VRLoo, direct message, if you yourself, or if you have people that you have access to that you have already spoken to that may be interested in doing something, reach out to them and they could talk to them, and they will share, how that whole structure works. If a prospect becomes a customer first, will they be able to shift to an influencer later? Yeah, of course they could do that. Thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you. Let's get it. I'm just gonna go through here and we're gonna wrap up. It's 9 o'clock. Hello, Mr. Bay, honored to be part of the company. I asked this a couple of days ago, but got pulled into a work meeting. I'm not sure if you answer, where do you see VRAR going in the next 5 years, and how will GPS capitalize on it? That's a long answer, but Eric, hopefully you could be on tomorrow. Let's spend a little more time on that tomorrow. But I could definitely tell you, we have a clear understanding and clear vision of, where VR, AR industry is going to develop into in the next 5 years. And we have a clear game plan to capitalize on almost every portion that we could participate in. So we probably have a better business model plan now on how we will capitalize each stage than probably any other company out there. I'm confident of that. I've spent so much time talking to so many VR, AR developers, professionals, and social commerce and mobile commerce, e-commerce and direct sales company owners and executives. We have a clear plan to analyze on all of them, but we could spend more time talking about that later. Yeah, if you have somebody like the Dan, it would be beautiful. Just send a message to VRLoo, and they'll be able to communicate to you. You could send me a copy as well, and I could help you follow up. All right. You know what, Jeremy, if you don't mind, let's do that tomorrow. If it's urgent, you can message me on DM. Just because of the time's sake, we tried to keep the calls to an hour. I apologize that we didn't have enough time for more questions. We just want to make sure that we keep the call to an hour and give everybody a chance to do it. So Jeremy, feel free to message me, or we can talk about it tomorrow, okay? All right, thank you everybody for joining us today. Let's have a powerful day, create a powerful day, create a lot of production, promote everybody. If you don't know your numbers, figure out your numbers today by inviting everybody to the Zoom presentation. God bless everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, last day of Good Morning GPS. Bye-bye.